I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the News du Jour, a calmer space to consume the news. So my little rescue pup is hanging out with us today, and he is chewing his bone very aggressively. So that's what's going on in the background today. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's episode all about the Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez drama. I know you guys have jobs and lives and children even, and have better things to do other than go down the rabbit hole of this. So I was happy to do it on our behalf so that we can all understand what's going on in celebrity realm. Anyway, today is actually a pretty slow news day. All of the stories are smaller ones, but I do have some important ones to go over. So let's go ahead and touch on some important topics. And yes, these topics today are going to be much more important than what we covered yesterday, more consequential at least. The Biden administration announced a new effort to crack down on child exploitation. So do you guys remember, I think last week, maybe the week before, we covered a story about the migrant children who were being used to clean slaughterhouses overnight? Yeah. That is one I am never going to forget. Those images will truly haunt me. Well, in response to this tragic discovery, the Biden administration announced that they will be diving deep into factories, warehouses, and other types of sort of manual labor to make sure that migrant children aren't there and look into how migrant children could have ended up working in such conditions in the first place. Because like we said during that episode, this is not where they were supposed to be. Because according to the New York Times, quote, at least a dozen child migrant workers have been killed on the job since 2017, including a 16-year-old who fell from and was crushed by an earth mover he was driving in Georgia. End quote. Many more have been injured in serious and catastrophic ways, such as losing limbs, shattering their spines during falls, things like that. There have also been stories of children collapsing from stress and exhaustion in school, dropping out or falling asleep in class, trying to balance working during their off hours and school in order to earn enough money to support themselves here in the US and their families back at home. Heartbreaking doesn't even begin to cover it. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on more specifics when it comes out in regards to Biden's plans. Stay tuned. And for our next story today, COVID-19 being from a lab, ? So more info is coming out, you guys, and it's making it seem more likely that COVID-19 may have escaped from a lab in China. I know. We've been down this road before. We've talked about this in the past, but the FBI and Energy Department have now come out and stated that they believe the quote unquote lab leak theory to be the truth. The Energy Department said this with quote unquote low certainty, and the FBI said it with quote unquote moderate certainty. These are their words, not mine, of course, but they didn't offer a lot of reasoning behind these new delineations, but that's where we're at. And you have to think that the FBI being moderately sure of this has something to back it up. But on March 8th and 9th, Congress is going to be hearing a brief on global threats generally, and this is going to be included in that briefing. There's also a Republican subcommittee that is looking deeply into the lab leak theory, so we may be hearing more on this subject in the way of actual proof and evidence coming soon. Stay tuned. And next up, we have some climate change stories to touch on. So, in both of these are pretty bizarre. So first, Northern California set a 132-year low record in temperatures. But that said, southern parts of California are also seeing record cold weather as well. And it was said that the Hollywood sign is seeing enough snow flurries to make a snowball, which is disturbing, to say the least. They saw their first blizzard warning in more than 3 decades. The storm also caused currents to be extra strong in the ocean and for the surf to stay really high. Over 1 million people nationwide have been left without power due to this intense winter storm. But like I said, that's not the only freak accident going on in the climate realm right now. Giant whales have also been washing up dead on shore in New York and New Jersey areas. There have been different types of whales coming ashore. First, a minke whale and then a humpback whale. And that's just this week. Since early December, a total of 23 dead whales have landed on East Coast beaches. And this is just not the norm. Why is this related to climate change, though? Good question. Well, with the oceans warming, whales and their prey have been moving into new feeding locations that have often been closer to shore. That said, the warming oceans didn't kill the whales directly. Boats hitting them did. And that takes us back to, though, why were the whales in the boat's path in the first place? And that is because of those warming waters in the ocean. What's more, boat traffic has dramatically increased since the pandemic. And why is that? Online shopping, baby. And lastly for today, we are going to discuss the White House on TikTok. So the White House has given federal agencies 30 days to get rid of TikTok on their devices. And I mean like employees of all federal agencies. Why? Well, as we know, TikTok is for sure gathering intense data on U.S. phones and tablets. And the government is worried that this app might be able to breach U.S. security through government employees. The White House already banned TikTok among their own employees directly in the White House, but other government branches are now required to have their employees delete the app as well. The only instances in which a government employee can have TikTok downloaded is if it's being used directly for researching and studying the app and how it works for the sake of national security. Republican Representative Mike McCall, who is the chairman of the House Foreign Relations Committee, said of the app, quote, "Anyone with TikTok downloaded on their device has been given the CCP a backdoor to all of their personal information. It's a spy balloon on your phone," end quote. Canada and the EU have also similarly banned TikTok from their government employees' devices, at least as a temporary measure. Better safe than sorry. And that is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success." If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use to listen. A rate and review or shout out on social media would mean the world to us and help us be able to keep creating the news du jour. But the best way to support all of our work is to become a patron at www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram and just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from Oklahoma.